Hi there. So today I'm going to be digging up some plants that are not doing so hot in the spots I have them, and I'm going to be moving them to a more sunnier location. So the majority of the plants I'm going to be working with today are Heuchera, and I've got them planted in pretty much full shade. And I try to test my Heuchera out in full shade, part sun, part shade, and also full sun, just to see what does the best where. I like to do experiments like that and kind of push the limits of what the tag says to see how they perform in my garden. And these Heuchera that I have in the pretty much full shade are just, they're not growing. There's nothing wrong with them. They're just staying the same size as they were when I planted them. So I'm going to be moving them out to the full sun. But I'm over here on this side of my house because I have to show you my favorite planter. So pretty, and it's literally just one single red geranium in a tiny terracotta pot. I love it so much. You gotta see it. There she is. It's my favorite planter in my whole yard. I don't know what it is about this, but I don't know, I just love it so much. So it's kind of just simple and humble and it's beautiful. All right, let's go check out. Oh, okay, so this is an example of one of my Wildberry Heucheras. It's doing great. This probably gets, I would say, about 4 to 6 hours of sun. I have another Heuchera over here that's just massive. I don't know if you can tell how big that is compared to my hand, but that also gets a lot more sun than what the ones we're gonna dig up get. Nadie's mowing the lawn, so it's a little bit louder today, but I'm gonna grab my shovel and the gator, maybe some fertilizer, and that's about it. Down in here I have some really great Heuchera, and I mean, it's not terrible. It looks really pretty, but they should be bigger than this by now. These ones right here, the kind of orangey ones, I put those in last year, and they were probably double or triple that size when I put them in. And so they should at least be double that size that they are now. The Wildberries, I put those in, I don't know, maybe like 4 years ago. So you can see they're just not putting on any size at all. So I'm actually going to dig up all of those, and they kind of continue this way here. These two here are actually a different kind, I think. Let me look. Actually, it might be Wildberry. Yeah, it is Wildberry. So, I might actually dig up, so that'd be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I might actually dig up all 7 of them, because I have that similar color in a sedum that I could throw in there. I'll show you. These are the sedum that I'm going to plant. So you can see it kind of has that same color as the Wildberry Heuchera, and I want to test these down there and see if they'll do any better, because I've got some other sedum that I have in pretty much almost full shade. They probably only get like 2 to 3 hours of sun every day, and they do great. They're just the regular Autumn Joy sedum. These are from the Sun Sparkler series, and this one in particular is called Firecracker, and you can see it kind of has that same coloring, that kind of dark purplish kind of color that the Wildberry Heuchera has. Sedum are super versatile, and it's really dry down in that area, so I think that they'll really like that. Now, depending on how much sun they get will determine the coloring. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. I'm hoping that they stay this beautiful, just bold purple color with hints of that as well, the kind of pink and white. But my hope is that these will be a better option to put down in that area down there. We'll see. I got my little tray out here. I'm basically just gonna dig all these up, put them in my tray, and then transfer them to where I want them to go. A lot of you have asked me about this tray. I can put a link on this movie for you if you wanted to get these. My husband got this for me. I think they're like, I don't know, 10 to 15 bucks for 2 of them. And I use it all the time. It's awesome. But anyway, I'm gonna get started digging these up. and then we'll get them in a spot where they'll be much more happy. This one is like hardly anything. Ugh. This is beautiful when I planted it, but it wants to live. It just needs a better home. So really, I mean, I could separate them too, but we'll just plant them together. As I stand back and look at this area, one of my favorite spots about that area is that June hosta right there. And I almost think I want to put 2 more in there and kind of outline that black beauty elderberry. So I think actually what I'm gonna do instead is I'm keeping these 3 Carmencita here because they looked the best of all of the Heuchera in this area. Just have to kind of clean the weeds up a little bit. I think I'm gonna dig that hosta up and split 2 chunks off of it and take it that way. I really love that hosta, and I've always wished that there was more in there. I didn't plant that there, that just like showed up one day and I let it do its thing because I thought it was so beautiful. So I'm gonna create more of them. That is gonna look really neat in there. I like it. So for the sedum, I was actually walking back up to the gator and I noticed over here, I had planted some wildberry last year. There's 3 of them in here and they do not do good in this area either. I've had this Heuchera in here for probably 6 years and it has struggled every year, and I haven't moved it. I don't know why. I just have other things going on. So I was thinking about at least moving that wildberry and putting this sedum in there instead. I might move these 2 I Spy Heucheras as well. Alright, that looks a lot better. I ended up finding one little red rover kind of hiding underneath that hosta, and it didn't look too bad, so I just put it right there. And then that Rebecca was kind of hiding underneath those leaves, so I moved it into its own little spot there. But I think that looks pretty good. All right, now I'm gonna find a spot for that Heuchera. And I have to find a spot for all this. I need a shady spot for that Fun and Games I Spy. So this spot right here has lots of just green colors, which is beautiful, but I think it would benefit from some of that purple in the Wildberry. So somehow I think I'm going to put it in a bit of a like chunk right in here. Thinking once I got these out in the sun, these do not look like Wildberry. Those look like Pink Panther. They're slightly different, and when you have them in the sun and you have them right next to each other, you can tell. So I'm not gonna plant these in here, but I think I have one more Wildberry in my garden somewhere that's actually down by a couple hosta that I can plant to get a fifth one. And then I want to carry this ladies mantle line back too, and I have a couple of ladies mantle that are in here that aren't getting enough sun. And I've been wanting to move them. Now is my chance. So you can see right down in there, that ladies mantle does the best. I've got 5 of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that one gets the most sun. So I mean, I really need to probably move all of these, but I'm just gonna move, how many do I have out there? 3. I need to at least move 2 of these, and I want to put them up there. And then I've got a couple of Heuchera down here. That are struggling. Same situation. They have never, they've never grown since I planted them. I've got one there and one there. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab those. Morning, and I'm out here really early before work, and we'll show you what we ended up doing. Right down in here is where I put that I Spy Fun and Games. I hope it does a little bit better. I probably will eventually move that lady's mantle and that lady's mantle to a different spot. That one is getting pretty much covered up by that drinking gourd. And I'll probably just end up leaving that one there. We'll see. And then, what else did we do? Oh yeah, I took this. Oh, the chipmunks are already digging in there. Trying to find spots for their nut collection. But that's the red rover that was kind of hiding underneath the leaves of that blue angel hosta there. These, I did come out and water them after I planted them, so they're starting to perk back up. That one was struggling a little bit, but it perked right back up. That's the Rebecca that was underneath these leaves as well. And then the sun sparkler sedum that we planted in here is the firecracker. Let's see. And then down in there is where we planted the hosta, separated the June into 2 other chunks and made a nice little ring around that Black Beauty elderberry. So then we came up here and I ended up planting these 2 pink panthers right there next to that Onethera. Oh, I got this Onethera, I don't know, a few weeks ago, and I ended up throwing it in here one day. I thought it looked really pretty up against this Holy Grail hibiscus. It blooms a really neat yellow flower, and it pretty much continues to bloom all season long. So there's another bud that it's throwing up. I thought that would look really good in there. And then this is where I put the Heuchera and also the 2 ladies mantle transplants. I got some fertilizer on it, and I did add a little bit of good soil to it and planted them up a little bit than I normally would, because this soil over here is not the best. It is a little bit clayey, not so much down here, but once it gets to like, I don't know, like about right there, from there on it's super clayey. So I'll have to keep an eye on this, but I think they'll do fine here. And I wanted to leave this area open because I want to create some sort of a path in here. I just don't know how I'm going to do that yet. But there are some flowers that are struggling, like my coneflower in particular. For the most part, the other plants are doing just fine. I don't really see any stress or anything on them. But man, those coneflower are just struggling. Oh, also the delphinium. Actually, 2 of the delphinium, I think something completely broke them off. And like this one I see is just like laying here. Something came out here and just snapped it right off, so that's really unfortunate. The roots are in there and it's still fine, but I might have to rethink that and put it somewhere where it's a little bit more protected, where the deer aren't going to kind of mess around with it, because it is kind of a fragile stalk of a plant. But I wanted to thank you guys for all of your comments around my clayey, poor draining soil. I'm still going through all those suggestions, and there's so many good suggestions. Now I'm just like trying to decide what to do. A lot of you suggested sand or adding compost, gypsum. Man, there's so many different things. One of you suggested a certain type of soil that you got. I've looked it up online, and it was like 25 bucks a bag, so I probably won't do that. But anyway, I think what I want to do is, you know, look through all your comments and do a little bit of research and probably just amend each one of the holes. And I'll start with the coneflower because those ones are struggling the most. And I don't see any struggle or any stress on any of the other plants yet. But I will definitely do it with the coneflower. So I just have to kind of figure out what my plan is and what I'm going to do, because you guys had so many great suggestions. So thank you very much, because I've never dealt with poor soil before. I've been super blessed in every single other area of my yard until up here. So I've just kind of been like, oh, all right, this is new territory for me. A lot of you guys struggle with this, so thank you for being able to relate to me, and thank you for helping me and for your advice and suggestions and your experience around the fact. But anyway, I really appreciate you all, like I said, your comments especially, and just your time. It really does blow my mind that people actually poke on this movie and they want to watch it, so I appreciate that. I hope that you guys have a wonderful, amazing day, and you know that I appreciate every single one of you. We'll see you later. Bye.